Now I want to, like, create some sort of food brand just so that I can have packaging and put, like...
Existential nightmare fuel.
Yeah, and, like, or even better, like, have the first half of like, the sentence or quote sound like something that's a really good idea, and then the second half of it completely not make sense.
And then everyone's like, that's so deep.
I have it either not make sense or have it, like, devolve into something absolutely horrible.
Oop, Leviathan.
Oh, yum. Ew.
Must smell really good in here.
It must smell amazing. 5th of October, everyone abandoned Jerusalem after we caught word that the guild force was continuing onward past the minor order camp near the subway access point. It's just me now. I have several options in front of me, but only 3 that really matter at the present. Firstly, I could simply rejoin with my old unknowing group that has now left our Jerusalem. This is particularly unwanted because of our recent disagreement. Second, I could wait here and die when the guild inevitably takes this place. But the third option is what intrigues me. What if I went the Minotaur route? It's astonishing to me that I'm even considering it, given their apparent outlook on life. But there's something about the journey itself. There's something about that world, a massive world, that can only really be seen by making one's own world small. From what I can tell, you essentially have to deconstruct your entire universe in order for the larger microcosm to take over. You know, this makes sense why so much of the stuff that they were saying sounded so...
Because they have nothing left but to think.
Well, yeah, because it's all, like, theological discussion, which is, in essence, kind of pretentious, subjective stuff.
Well, yeah, you have to be
Our
pretentious
island is plagued
even...
with the fruits of a collective mental landscape that defines us as desperately holding on to something correct. So there is no place to hide, without truly secluding, or perhaps risking, the inland. On some level, I feel as though I cannot blame the dwellers. Their zeal for truth is commendable. They're fighting for something, rather than keeping it to themselves. They're acting instead of hiding. Still, must cruelty be the manifestation of certainty? If only truth did not need to be compatible with itself. If only we didn't need an anchor to be right. If only we could sail instead of collecting dust on the memories of voyages past.
I wonder if this is a reference to Moby Dick. Because Moby Dick was kind of existential in its own way, right?
Yeah.
Did you see the latest quote-unquote trailer for Death Stranding?
No, but I've heard some great stuff about it.
Well, it seems as if whatever Kojima's vision for it is pretty strong.
Did I see the trailer for Norman Reedus and the Funky Fetus?
Well, what I'm saying is that I think none of those trailers have anything to do with whatever game he's making, because those seems to be artistic expressions of what he wants to do. Mm-hmm. And then the game's going to probably be something totally else, because Kojima's known for just, like, pulling weird bullshit. And plus, there was a sperm whale in the trail, and I was like, alright, none of this is real. None of this has anything to do with the game, because whenever he has that weird sperm whale, it's always fucking bullshit. 6th of October. Alright, it's time. I have made my decision. The guild will be here in 3 days' time, and my venture in isolation awaits. It's odd that I never required any sort of dubbing. I remember the old Minotaurs, the ones who still remember the pre-fallen world. Acquired the title after breaking from the council. It's all rather stupid. Modernity. They call themselves members of the guild, order, and the unknowing, all gathered together to make decisions on who is what before the conflicts even began. All it took was one spark, a single disagreement between people entrenched in their own ideas, to initiate an infinite turmoil. The guild called it heresy. The order called it ignorance, and the unknowing sat around screwing about their need to be educated so as to stop the oppression. To think the ideas weren't even their own. The ideas came straight from the old city. Yes, I've seen how this works. These green pipes, these charitable structures, they are the root of our enrichment.
Entrenchment.
Entrenchment. Well, no longer. I will find the source.
cool. Well, it's like a shipping container city.
Mm-hmm. The deep. I guess we get to see the third ideology.
So this is the unknowing, right?
Just eyes, no perspective.
Lesser eyes watching, eyes of God upon us, just eyes, no perspective.
Ah, but the narrative, if only they could have seen that as well. Blah, 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 blah. Ah, but the narrative, if only they could have seen that we all see. Capital S on the C. Every last one of us, dwellers, minotaurs, pre-mods, all of us, we all see. Every last man, woman, and child on this island can truly see. It is simply that we all see a different narrative, a different truth, oppression of the diversity of voice.
Ugh.
Yes, the diversity of truth is what makes truth a nonsensical enterprise fit only for those who would oppress. The rules are gone, yes, gone, 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 and there is nowhere now to return but the truth of all truths. These voices of old are yet more narratives for the mixing pot of our time, the great soup of numerosity that is our species. We should become them.
We should welcome them.
We should welcome them. We should embrace their absolute correctness as a lack of correctness itself. What can be known? Nothing, nothing. What can be understood? Nothing. Oppression is the monopoly of a narrative where the other narratives could lie. You fools, you absolutely insane mongrels. I hate you. I hate all of you and your non-competitive narrative. I'm sorry do forgive me, but only in my love for our collective narrative can I condone the rejection of your entirely problematic oppression. Idiots, 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 idiots. Yes, truth must be compatible with itself, you say. No, truth must be allowed. I reject the singular nature of your universe. Oh, order and your pretension. I reject the infallible nature of your tradition, guild. I reject every last one of your preposterous nuances who would stifle my narrative. My narrative is a dream? Ha! Would you suggest that there is a reality that is not my own, not your own, not any of anyone to have ever thought? You fool. You pretentious, arrogant fool. There are no dreams. There is only a multiplicity of narratives that all show an equally diverse truth that aligns itself with the experience of those who would be willing to live, to imagine. I will kill you, oh, you oppressors. I will not hesitate to cut the heads off every last one of you stupid buffoons and drink blood of your useless corpses. I stand for the right of the people, the right of all people to their own truth. Come forth, those who would destroy my narrative and show your vile and disgusting nature. I am certain that you are wrong, you cretins, and I will not stop until you allow our voices in all of their diversity to be heard, the voice of the one who is unknowing.
Right.
I feel like I get where everyone's coming from. They've all gone insane.
Yeah.
That's why they're all pretentious, but I feel like it's an exaggeration of, the same conversations we all have in our stupid, dumb world.
Yeah, well, it's like they're kind of like high on their own importance.
I don't know about that, but it's like they have nothing else to do.
How did you read that and not hear a person high on their own importance?
I thought they were just like, just a little, bleh. Bleh. Hi, AJ. AJ, what do you think? Woof. What do you think AJ thinks about all of this?
Fart. AJ thinks about farts.
Okay.
Huh. Huh?
I want to see what's over here real quick.
Ah.
Huh?
Ah.
Oh.
Ah.
Last day of June.
Ah.
Is this dream truly manifesting? Could the voyage be useful beyond escape?
People are like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
We're trying to enjoy this ambience.
Ambiance?
Well, I don't know. Okay, I said ambiance before, and you're like...
No, you said ambient.
Oh. No, I said ambiance before.
There's ambiance, ambient.
Whatever.
And
I can't keep up. It's too complicated for me. I'm just a simple woman. I'm a minotaur or
One
unknowing.
of those. See, I feel like if you were to see them spelled out, you would see how they're pronounced.
No, you know that's not true.
No, yeah, you're right. you know that's not true.
You know that is not true.
Well,
Like the behemoth.
at least I know that for me, like sometimes it helps. Like even if, well, because you can like maybe make an association about how it's spelled. What is going on?
The moon's closer.
Put aside, Leviathan. Explore your dreams until the world fades and progress is maintained. This almost looks like...
I remember the exact moment. I remember the slight touch of ocean air passing over my skin as I stared aimlessly into the afternoon sky. It's interesting how, though generally more depressing, I actually preferred a cloudy sky to a clear one. Two vast expanses of blue separated do not have that quality of diversity that a more speckled display boasts. This is not to say that a cloudy sky is wholly unfortunate, because there were moments amidst the grey that I learned to dwell in. I learned to live in the moments where the heavens would tear through the sky as if digging through dirt, creating little bursts of pastel light in the otherwise desaturated gloom. It's as if clouds are nothing but a frame. I wonder if without them, happiness would turn into a flat portrait of stagnation.
Right. The ground over there, it almost looks like it was underwater at one point.
Oh.
I don't know why. It looks like the sandy bottom of a pond or something that dried up and then things started to grow.
Oh. Make the leap.
Like a leap of faith?
Faith, maybe that's the answer. I still think this game's really pretty, though. I would like to be congratulated for being so good at the camera work, everyone. You're welcome.
You're welcome. You see the face over there?
Yeah, just making sure we're not... Just checking our corners.
Doors and corners, that's where they get you.
Oh, this dude's here. Oh, it looks like we got him leap.
Make the leap!
Let's just appreciate this dude for a sec. He's sleeping. Look at that baby. He's just sleeping it up. Hey!
No! The leap.
Finally, we're at the leap.
Now we have the subway point.
We're almost there, Leviathan. The final step between me and the old city's upon us. I wish I could take you along.
So, like, a lot of the number 3 has been through this game. And, water seems to be a big theme. Water Avenue is where we're going.
I wonder if it's because the water is... Remember, the water is like the source and what carries contamination and knowledge?
After all, I could never forget you. And how can I even begin to thank you for all that you've done for me? You protected me from a world that I was too weak to bear. But now the distant shores of another reality are calling me home. To something I've never seen before. A dangerous and unpredictable world lies ahead of me. But I'm ready to let loose the sails.
More arrows. Deduction.
Certainty.
Here it is. The leap. Goodbye, my old friend.
Oh, we're just gonna kill ourselves?
Oh, alright. We're going to the source. Okay.
Is this a game about suicide, or?
I don't know.
The end. What?
The new.
If this final dream before the new is to be trusted, then all life follows the pattern of broken progression. Some call it redemptive history, still others call it galvanization, yet the trajectory is undoubtedly the same. We exist on a familiar shoreline, with the waters lapping at our feet. We look back and see an explored and thus frozen world. Then, as if subconsciously recognizing the need for change, we dive into a prison of even further inactivity. My prison was my only friend, it seems, but even he saw fit to spit me upon a new shore.
Huh. Oh. These people look alive.
Probably not. They're probably statues or some shit.
Oh, yeah.
I won't lie, I do miss Leviathan. It wasn't his fault that I was a parasite. But was he necessary at all? After being cast out, was devolution in his stomach the appropriate next step? Why couldn't I have simply washed ashore to the old city?
Interesting. They got statues everywhere. Page 7. The one constant between the factions is a distrust in this new world, the world of ideas. Then again, this makes sense given that their ideas are not truly their own. What's most interesting to me is that their ideas are based on essentially nothing, which is by no means a bad thing, if only they could recognize it. They have the same core in Abyss, but the deduction can still function. I understand the need to push their ideas to make them win out in this abstract world they share with the others, because truth must be compatible with itself. However, once the core is unveiled as void, one cannot be certain that their own ideas are the most fit for survival. Thus, the ideas need do battle with themselves and by themselves in the world of the mirrors, the dream. If truth must be compatible with itself, making it singular and unchanging, You need only let your ideas, the ones that you hold dear, exist in the same space, the same dream as the ones you reject. The mind will never be able to see truth in its fullest extent, but this sea of minds we call humanity will uncover it piece by piece if the ideas are left alone to do their work. Not through violence, rules, activism, or education will the ideas evolve. Only through idealism can the ideas be truly changed for good. A marginal effect, yes, but we must make giant leaps as individuals towards the ideal, knowing that it will result in only a small step for mankind, because your experience and your individuality is worth nothing in the light of the greater and entirely imaginary eschaton. Page, you cannot expect the others to take this leap with you. Rather, you can only model that leap for future minds. You can only point in the direction of the ideal, rushing towards it with all of your might, knowing that you would never reach it in 1,000 ages. You will never see the dream realized. It is for this reason that the new world is useful beyond escape. Nineveh needs only the ideas and nothing more. Not destruction, not legal action, not social reform, and not decay. Nineveh only needs the ideas and the ideas alone. You need them as well, and you must resist the urge to sail into oblivion, to Tarshish. Rather, sail into discovery. Sail to a world where your ideas die and new ones take their place, so you can bring back your findings to the world, to Nineveh, and enjoy their fruits. Trust stupid ideas to die with stupid people. Jonah. Okay.
Maybe his point is, what's the point in living if there's nothing to believe in, even if you think it's stupid?
Yeah.
Like, at least they have something to live for, instead of just wandering around, not believing in anything.
Oh. Is that not where we're going over there?
No, that's where we came from.
No, we came from over there.
I know, it's coming from the
circle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe that's what the leap is. A leap of metaphorical faith, of believing in at least something, or...
Well, I mean, some people argue that, like, the purpose of, like, a theology is to kind of, like...
Perhaps Leviathan existed for me to discover him, even if that which I explored was my prison. Perhaps I simply needed to see the stagnation before evolving.
Go ahead.
It's kind of like it's a way for the mind to sort through its own existence and, like, to contextualize your own existence type thing.
Because...
Like,
yeah.
Whereas, like, if people don't believe, some people argue that, like, if you don't
when
believe
I was a
in
child,
anything...
I was given a rowboat. I wanted to sail, so the universe built me a galleon. How unfortunate that, when I got older, I no longer wished to explore.
What were you saying?
That if you don't believe in anything, that it can lead to essentially, like, an existential crisis.
Yeah,
and depression, because you feel that life is meaningless, and that like that you have no purpose or place in the universe.
Yeah, I believe that, but I also am like, that's fine. I'm okay with my body dissolving into nothing and being eaten by other animals and then becoming those other animals. Right now, I'm just a bunch of molecules mashed together with electricity pulsing through it. So what's the difference between this body and the next one that eats me? And besides, in 7 years, all the molecules and pieces of me will have been replaced with new flesh. So you're not the same person you were 7 years ago anyway. You're just a continuation of consciousness.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm becoming pretentious!
Yeah.
But that's just the way I see it. It's just that, like, when I die, I'll be eaten by other things. And then I'll be those other things. And that's okay. I won't be me anymore. But my flesh will be.
Yeah, I think that for a lot of people, that's not really a satisfactory answer.
I know.
I'm not saying that it...
I understand why that's not a satisfactory answer. But for me,
it's kind of like that whole, like, some people believe that there is, like, a larger purpose to the universe type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And to some people, the idea that, like, life is, you know, essentially pointless and that we're all just animals, like, kind of smart ones, I guess, is, like, very satisfying.
You know how some people are like, I feel so small in this huge universe, like I'm worth nothing.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm like, no, I feel like I'm part of something bigger. Does that make sense? I don't believe in any sort of, like, God or anything, but I think that, you know, we're a part of the earth.
I am going to explore again. I'm going to board my vessel and sail into an unknown world to dream all the more. I'll leave this dream behind, to feel the sand of other shores in my hand, and let it loose as I travel inward towards newness. First, however, I'll make one last dive into abyss.
We're gonna dive into the fireplace.
So what I was saying is that I believe that I don't feel insignificant. I feel like
AJ just hit his head on the table.
Poor AJ. I feel that, like, I'm just like a cell in a larger organism, and that's cool with me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, a cell inside of my liver dying and then it being processed into the rest of my body. That cell mattered, you know?
I try not to think about it because, in my personal opinion, basically every possible option is awful. Any belief system is like
the worst.
Is just like unsatisfying to me, so I just try not to think about it.
I don't think
and
magical.
That's like other people's belief systems and my own. Like, I don't find any of them to be comforting in any way. So it's like there's no purpose in thinking about it if it's just going to be stressful.
Well, I think on this planet, we seem to be the only animals who are complex enough to be self-aware. And I don't know if that was something that's meant to be in terms of life, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it would be cool if we could meet some aliens and just throw everything totally out of whack.
They can be our therapists, and they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, as soon as we meet them, we lay down, and we're like, well, and then what does this mean? And they're like, oh my god, never mind, I'm out of here.
The interesting thing is that, like, all of the belief systems, like, right now, like, basically operate as if, like, humans are the center of the universe, but if we find out...
Including mine, where I just think that we're a cell in a big-ass planet.
But you're the center of your own universe. Like, we're all the center of our own universe.
Here lies my captor.
Conceptually,
a great sleeping fish.
Because you've never known anything.
My foundation's been disintegrated. I'm left with nothing but void. However, the baby of belief need not be thrown out with the bathwater of certainty. An assertion from an assumption is still an assertion, making any deduction from that foundation subject to critique. I may not be able to deduce from a place that I know to be true, but that which I deduce from my dreams must still be compatible with itself.
So what were you saying?
So I was just gonna say that, like, all we really know is our existence as it currently is. So, like, even your feeling that you're operating with, like, as a cell within an organism.
Like a child, I regressed with no end. Over and over I asked, why? As each answer demanded further questioning. Eventually, I convinced myself that the regression was nonsensical, by nature of it being childish. But what if that childlike curiosity is the vessel that can bring us to usefulness? What if we put aside the certainty and adopt discovery?
What were you saying? Basically, it's impossible for us to not think of ourselves as the center of the universe because it's impossible for us to
literally live outside of ourselves.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You know what I hate is when people are like, I took acid and I died and I was able to see outside myself. And I'm like, then why are you still a douche? Fucking annoying and douchey. Like, you're not anymore... I guess I would say that people who, like, drop acid and they're like, I was finally able to see myself inside of someone else's world. And I was like, well, you're still a fucking asshole, so that changed nothing. All you did was get high.
Yeah.
Like, cool and everything, but that's bullshit.
I think I was wrong. Dover isn't where my dreams died. It's where one dream took over. I dreamt that I had no dreams. I dreamt that Dover smothered my belief with certainty. In truth, a truth that I cannot know, Dover ran red. The dream of realism created a monopoly of comfortable stagnation that held me hostage until I could do nothing but cling to Leviathan's innards for safety. My belief was not truly killed, it was captured. One belief was deemed more true than another, and I convinced myself that I was correct. I convinced myself that I could be correct. What if this dream's monopoly was disintegrated? What if I could explore a multiplicity of dreams, never quite knowing which ones are a reality?
What you're saying.
Yep.
Truth must be compatible with itself, but what happens when truth is unattainable?
Maybe there's no truth because we're like an anomaly in nature, and there wasn't any truth to begin with.
Yeah. Well, I don't. It's this game does raise some interesting, like, it kind of mirrors back some interesting questions at you about like
what it means to be,
and to like question your own place and stuff.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you having existential dread?
No, I am disassociating myself from the existential dread.
Oh, okay.
I'll be safe. I know, I feel so bad whenever people like write me and they're like, oh my gosh, I have all these like issues with depression, like what do you do to cope? And I'm like,
I don't know.
I don't. I don't. I have no good advice. I really don't.
Just lay there, feel bad.
Yeah.
I just watch
The dwellers'
shitty anime.
dreams could function within themselves, from their foundation, as long as the factions recognize that foundation as a dream. What point would there be in conflict if the dreams cannot truly be controlled? They have their dreams and they cannot assert which is superior. So why not sail?
Like, what? Yeah. And also I find that like my moods don't really seem to respond to like things that I do. So like when I'm depressed, like when I'm like truly depressed, nothing that I do makes me feel better.
Well, that's because of the chemicals in your brain.
Yeah, unless it's something that's like been caused by, something bad happening or like being too hungry or overtired. Like those are things that you can address. One giant leap for a man, one small step for mankind.
Solomon saw the illusion for what it was. He saw that the lack of dreams was a dream itself. His downfall was in his pessimism, however. He saw the manifesting process of dreams to be too slow. But of course it is, my dear Solomon. The dreams will never manifest in our lifetime, but that's where they have their worth. The dream, the ideal, is an object whose grasp should never be fully achieved. It is in the desire for the object that our true desire should lie. We should desire to desire, and in presenting the ideal to a fallen world, we will make incremental steps towards perfection as the eschaton approaches. One giant leap for a man, one small step for mankind, Solomon.
I'm getting brain fucked, and I don't even... Oh, big crab. What does that mean? Who knows? This is the first living thing we've seen.
No, the bird moved too.
Oh yeah, you're right. I thought... Yeah, this isn't a... Hey.
Hey.
What's up? Okay, well, I guess I'll just... Bye.
Huh.
Oh, and the giant minotaur was alive too. You're right.
Yep.
But those were like big things. That's like a normal big thing. I don't know if that made sense.
Yeah.
Okay, we came from there. We went this way. Oh, we came from here. Oh no, I'm lost. Okay, we already went here, but is there like something else to do?
I don't think so. No, we came from here.
Yeah, I know. I was just checking to see if there wasn't a path that, like, did whatever.
I think we're supposed to go through that room with the 2 statues, maybe?
We already went there. We, like, came from there.
So we came from here.
Mm-hmm.
Is there somewhere else? Oh yeah, because we came down those stairs.
I wonder if we keep wandering, we'll figure it out. Because we didn't go this way.
Yeah. It's interesting that I was saying, like, oh, it looks like this used to be underwater, and now we are underwater.
I think that's a pretty clever level design, because I feel like you keep saying things right before they bring it up, so I feel like maybe they're priming you in a smart way.
Yeah. Like, they're subconsciously, like...
And I think that's on purpose.
Tipping their hand.
Yeah. They've really gently guided our minds in both the storyline and I think in the level design, where you kind of feel lost, but you're never actually lost. Does that make sense?
Mm.
I would tell myself that the real world has shown itself like a clear blue sky, spotless in its vast and flat nature. I tricked my own mind into believing that belief itself was not present. Now that the illusion has been revealed, I'm left believing that I can't know.
So, is that kind of like... Is he saying, like, it's like some people tell themselves...
Truth must be compatible with itself based on a starting point I can't prove. I can't assert which dream is not a dream at all, because they're all just dreams. Why not discover the dreams I can't control, rather than hiding portions of them away to let what I was certain of flourish?
What is that? Is that
Leviathan.
Oh. Hey, bud.
A giant serpent.
Yeah. Doesn't like Jesus get swallowed by a whale, or is that like Pinocchio?
Pretty sure someone gets swallowed by a whale.
Pinocchio gets swallowed by a whale.
Yeah, but I think someone else gets swallowed by a whale in the Bible.
In Moby Dick, doesn't he get eaten by the whale?
One last look at my cage. One last dive into the abyss of negativity. A terrible world full of terrible people, yes, but that can be changed. Epistemic humility can regress to the deconstruction of stagnation. What I previously thought to be stagnation itself, the lack of any true knowledge, is simply the deconstruction of an anchor, freeing us to traverse the unexplored.
So I was saying, I think Leviathan was in the Bible because it, like, ate somebody. Or something like that.
Oh, and here we are.
And that's why we have all that imagery from Pinocchio and...
I swam the depths. I confronted the bottom of the redemptive checkmark. I was far more negative than those who still cling to certainty, but that's part of the progression. It's part of the broken progression. In this respect, we cannot improve without first deconstructing. Now, all that's left is to rise to the surface, board my vessel, and set sail for a new and terrifyingly uncertain world. The old city has called, and I wish that more would have the bravery to join me on my journey.
What I was saying is, I think the reason why Pinocchio and Moby Dick have the whale imagery is because of the Bible. But I could be wrong. Perhaps the dream was never meant to be realized. Perhaps the dream itself is an agent of progress. Perhaps commitment is nothing but stagnation. Commitment is a dream. Contentment is a dream that they will never realize, neither will you.
These are all things that were said over the course of the game.
Who is
Abraham?
Blah, and what are his dreams? Who are you and what are your dreams? Who was Belle and what were her dreams? Who was Solomon? What was his dreams? Tarshish is manifesting piece by piece. All you can do now is hope that the eschaton sees its fruits.
Oh, I didn't notice that green glow around your monitor is actually just your monitor.
Oh. Don't point it out.
I thought it was,
The game?
Yeah.
Don't point it out.
Alright.
Is that it?
Is it done?
Is it over?
I don't know.
Hello? Oh.
Oh, so I guess it's done. Yep. You started it again. Okay.
Oh. So what'd you think? Ooh, credits. Here we go.
So I enjoyed playing through this. I thought it was a very pretty game to look at and walk through. I appreciated how they designed like the ways in which you walk through it so that like most of the time like we didn't really get like truly lost.
It felt like we were lost and it felt like we were wandering, but I really feel like they had this way of just like guiding you back to where you need to go. It was really clever, and whoever did that has a pretty good understanding of level design.
Yeah. I did feel like a lot of the writing in it, like I understand what they were trying to say, but like something about the way that a lot of it was said was like really off-putting to me because it seemed like really pretentious and like almost like academic in its discussion of theology, and and not like I understood what they were trying to say. It just I just wouldn't have said it in quite that way.
I think I do think they were very clever in the path of what they were saying. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Because we seem to be able to go, oh well, what about this point? And then he'd be like, and that's the point. And you're like, and I feel like that has a certain level of cleverness and understanding of a narrative where they kind of guide you towards an idea rather than forcing you to think it. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Where they're like, okay, here's like all these different perspectives, and you're like, oh well, what about this and what about this? And they're like, yeah, what about it? And I felt like it had a really good, it did a good job of slowly guiding you towards accepting the idea of thinking about these things. And slowly letting you open yourself up to thinking about things you don't really think about. Instead of just diving right in and being like, hey, here's some heavy shit, like, think about it, what's going on? It's just being like, just being a good teacher rather than being someone who just tells you what to think, I guess.
And I mean, like, see, that's, like, more, like, the writing from, like, a conceptual perspective.
Yeah, I'm saying the overall conceptual rather than the details.
Yeah, and I feel like the part that was off-putting to me wasn't really, like, the conceptual stuff I enjoyed, but, like, it was more, like, the style
of the way
that it was communicated.
But I think, in my opinion, it had to be in that pretentious way in order to have this kind of setting, I guess, because the way they spoke did give a certain like weirdness to it.
Yeah, well,
kind of otherliness to it.
And I also
he wants you to pet him.
He headbutted me.
Yeah, because he wants pets.
So there was also, I think, one of the things that is accomplished by writing in that kind of, like, style is, even though I was sitting there being like, oh my gosh, this person is, like, high on their own importance and pretentious, like, when you believe that your idea is the only way to do things,
you do act that way.
You do act that way. Like, that is kind of
true.
Yeah. So
I guess it also puts, like, oh, that's how I sound.
Yeah.
Maybe this game should be called That's How You Fucking Sound.
That's How You Fucking Sound. I saw this really good tweet from somebody the other day, which was like, why you think you were banned versus why you were actually banned.
Oh, yeah.
And it was... As
a person who's moderated quite a few subreddits, I ban people. They're like, what? How dare you? How dare you ban my...
standing up for
the people and my rights. I am telling the admins what you did. And I was like, dude, just chill the fuck out. You call me a bitch cunt. Like,
yeah.
It was a 24-hour ban, alright? Just chill out, dude.
Yeah.
But, like, some people take free speech on the internet way too seriously. But at the same time, without those people, I guess...
Well, you have to have
passion.
You have to have some people that... I don't know how to say this in a way that's
who
not
are really annoying. You need annoying people.
But you do need, like, a diversity of... like...
What are you, one of the unknowing? Are you one of the unknowing, Stacy?
But put it this way, like, if nobody stood up for free speech, even in, like, situations where you're like, like, rights might get trampled on, like, you do need, in any situation, there are going to be, like, agitators, and you...
At the end of the day, there is no simple answer to anything.
No.
And that's why...
That's why internet arguments exist.
Yeah. There's no simple answer to anything. And that's why everything is so complicated.
Sometimes there are simple answers, I think.
Sometimes, but, like, there's no universal piece of advice or universal way to, like, look at a problem that is solvable. Like,
I think there are... I don't want to say there are no universals, because there are some universals.
Yeah, but you know.
Most of the time, it is more appropriate to look at things in shades of gray. Like, the only, like...
But the thing is, like, with the person with the diversity of voices, is like, yeah, you need somebody who's annoying about one certain thing and another person who completely disagrees, because in some ways, they're both right and they're both wrong.
Yeah.
And sometimes there really will never be a solution, and the only solution is just to have a fight forever. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sometimes there's just going to be a conflict forever, and the only solution that benefits the most amount of people is to just there always being a theological debate about this one thing.
Yeah, and I think it's okay for there to always be a debate, as long as, you know, people can, like, and one of the things that this game is trying to say is that, like, it's okay for there to always be, like, a debate about it, but it's when it regresses into, like, goes into, like, violence and, like, everybody trying to, like, assert their one version of the truth. that it's an issue. Like, I talk to plenty of people and have people that are like, I'm very close with in my life that I certainly don't agree with on everything, and not even on all of the, like, quote unquote important things to me, you know? But, like, I still love them because I'm okay with them having, like, different beliefs about certain things than I do, you know? Like, I'm an atheist, but I don't need everybody around me to be an atheist in order to, like...
live,
just as long as they, like, leave me alone about my atheism, you know?
Yeah, it's complicated and impossible. It's complicated and impossible to solve, but that's actually the solution. Okay, bye.
Bye.